When life stops making sense, our hearts start asking questions our minds can't answer. Maybe that's where you are right now. You tried to do things right. You prayed. You waited. You trusted. And still, it feels like everything is upside down. If that's you today, this video is for you. Not to give you all the answers, not to explain away your pain, but to sit with you in it and gently remind you that even here, even in the confusion, even in the not knowing, God has not left you. Let's take this slowly. Let's breathe. And let's talk about trusting God when life doesn't make sense. Confusion and waiting. There are seasons in life when nothing seems to line up. You look at your life and you think, God, this is not how I thought it would be. You thought you'd be further along by now. You thought that prayer would have been answered by now. You thought the door would have opened, or the pain would have eased, or the situation would have changed. But instead, you're waiting for a call that hasn't come, waiting for healing that hasn't happened, waiting for clarity that still feels like fog. And the waiting can be so heavy. Waiting is the place where our faith feels fragile. It's the place where our questions get louder. It's where we start to wonder, did I hear God wrong? Did I miss something? Did I mess this up? Maybe you look at others and think, they're moving forward. They're getting answers. They're seeing breakthroughs. And you feel stuck. If that's you, I want you to know, you are not strange. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are human. You are waiting, and you are deeply seen by God. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is simply keep showing up. Keep waking up to a day that doesn't look how you wanted it to look. Keep praying prayers that don't seem to change anything yet. Keep holding on to a hope you barely feel anymore. Confusion does not mean God is absent. Waiting does not mean God is silent. It just means you are standing in a chapter of the story that you don't understand yet. When life doesn't make sense, our first instinct is to demand answers. We want an explanation, a reason, a timeline. But so often, God doesn't start by giving us explanations. He starts by giving us Himself. Not always in a way we can feel, not always in a way we can see, but in a way that is very real. Right now, in your confusion, God is closer than the breath you're taking, closer than the tears you wiped away last night, closer than the questions you're afraid to say out loud. The waiting room of life is not a punishment. It's a space where God often does some of His deepest work, even when we don't know it's happening. Silence and doubt. But let's be honest. There are times when God feels silent. You pray, and it feels like your words bounce off the ceiling. You open your Bible, and the words look flat, like ink on a page instead of life to your soul. You try to worship, but your voice feels small and your heart feels far away. And in that silence, doubt starts to whisper. Maybe God doesn't care. Maybe He's tired of you. Maybe you used up your chances. Maybe He was never really there at all. Doubt can feel like failure. It can make you feel guilty, ashamed, like a bad Christian. But hear this gently. Doubt does not scare God. He already knows every question in your mind, every fear in your heart, every moment you've wondered if any of this is real. God is not offended by your honest questions. He is not surprised by your tired faith. Sometimes the silence is not God's rejection, it's an invitation. An invitation to bring Him not just your praise, but also your pain. Not just your strong faith, but your shaky faith. Not just the parts of you that feel holy and put together, but the parts of you that feel confused, angry, and disappointed. You are allowed to say, "God, I don't understand." You are allowed to pray, "God, I believe, but please help my unbelief." The silence of God is not the absence of God. Just like seeds grow in the dark, beneath the surface, where no one can see. Sometimes God is growing something in you in the hidden places, in the quiet places, in the places where you feel nothing. Doubt doesn't mean you've walked away from God. It often means you're wrestling with Him. And wrestling is still a form of holding on. If you feel like your faith is hanging by a thread, remember this. It's not the strength of your grip on God that saves you. It's the strength of His grip on you, and His grip does not slip. Letting go of control. One of the hardest parts of trusting God when life doesn't make sense is letting go of control. We like plans. We like timelines. We like to know what's coming next. Control makes us feel safe. It makes us feel strong. It gives us the illusion that if we try hard enough, plan well enough, pray long enough, we can make life behave. But life doesn't always behave. Sometimes the door we wanted stays closed. Sometimes the person we loved leaves anyway. Sometimes the opportunity we chased disappears. And when that happens, we often grab for even more control. We replay every decision. We overthink every conversation. We cling to people, to outcomes, to what used to be. We tell ourselves, if I can just fix this, if I can just figure this out, if I can just get God to do what I'm asking Him to do. But slowly, gently, God invites us to loosen our grip. Not because what you wanted didn't matter. Not because your desires were wrong or foolish, but because your heart was never meant to carry the weight of being in control of everything. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is opening your hands. It's saying, God, I don't understand this. I don't like this. I wouldn't have chosen this, but I choose to place it in your hands. Letting go might look like releasing a relationship you keep trying to force. It might look like laying down a plan that isn't working no matter how hard you push. It might look like admitting, I can't control how this person feels. I can't control what they decide. I can't control every outcome in my life. There is a quiet freedom in confessing, I am not God. It's humbling. It's uncomfortable. But it is also deeply relieving. You are not responsible for holding the world together. You are not responsible for making every story end well. Your part is to be faithful with what's in front of you. God's part is everything else. Letting go means trusting that even when your hands are empty, God's hands are not. What God may be doing behind the scenes. When life feels chaotic on the surface, it's easy to believe nothing good is happening anywhere. But very often, God does His deepest work behind the scenes. Think about a story in a book. There are chapters that feel slow, confusing, even painful for the characters. If you only read that one chapter, you might think, this is pointless, this is cruel, this will never get better. But the author knows where the story is going. The author is weaving together details you don't see yet, introducing people you haven't met yet, setting up moments that haven't happened yet. In the same way, God may be doing things right now that you cannot see. He may be protecting you from something you begged Him for. He may be closing one door because He knows where it really leads, and He loves you too much to let you walk through it. He may be strengthening your character in the very places you feel weakest, teaching you patience through waiting, teaching you compassion through pain, teaching you dependence through uncertainty. None of this makes your suffering small. None of this erases how hard it is. But sometimes, in the very areas that feel most confusing, God is quietly planting seeds for something you can't imagine yet. You might not see the healing yet, but God may be gently stitching together parts of your heart that were torn long before this moment. You might not see the purpose yet, but God may be preparing you to comfort someone in the future with the same comfort He is slowly giving you now. You might not see the path yet, but God may be clearing away obstacles that would have tripped you later. We often want God to change our circumstances first. But so often, God begins by changing us in the middle of our circumstances. He reshapes our priorities. He softens our hearts. He teaches us to find Him not just in the answers, but in the questions. There are things you are learning in this season that you could not have learned any other way. One day, you may look back and see small threads of grace woven through a time that once felt unbearable. You may not call this season good, but you may be able to say, even there, God was with me. Even there, He was working. Right now, behind what you feel, behind what you see, God is still God. Still wise, still kind, still faithful. Hope and perspective. Hope in seasons like this doesn't always feel loud. Sometimes it's not a shout, sometimes it's not a song. Sometimes hope is just a quiet decision to keep going, to get out of bed one more morning, to whisper one more prayer, to take one small step when you feel like standing still. Trusting God when life doesn't make sense is not about forcing yourself to feel positive. It's not pretending you're okay when you're not. It's not slapping a smile on top of a breaking heart. Trusting God is shifting your perspective from, I have to understand this, to, I know the one who understands this. It's moving from, I must control this, to, I can place this in God's hands. Your story is bigger than this moment. This chapter is real. It is painful. It is confusing. But it is not the whole story. There is a day coming when what is unclear now will be seen with new eyes. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next month. Maybe not even in this lifetime the way you wish. But God sees the whole picture at once. He sees where you've been. He sees where you are. He sees where you're going. And in His hands, no pain is wasted. No tear is ignored. No prayer is forgotten. Hope doesn't mean you never feel sad again. Hope means you are not alone in your sadness. Hope doesn't mean everything works out exactly how you planned. Hope means whatever happens, God will be there to walk you through it. When you can't see the road ahead, take the next small step with the light you do have. One breath, one prayer, one day at a time. You don't have to have bold, mountain-moving faith every second. Sometimes faith looks like simply saying, God, I don't get this, but I don't want to go through it without you. That small, honest prayer is more powerful than you know. As you listen to these words, you might still feel confused. Your situation may not have changed. The questions may still be there, and that's okay. This moment is not about fixing everything. It's about remembering you are not carrying everything alone. Right now, just breathe. Feel the air filling your lungs, in and out. With every breath, let this sink in. God is with you in the confusion. God is with you in the waiting. God is with you in the silence, in the doubt, in the letting go. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to pretend you're strong. You don't have to understand the plan. You are held by the one who does. When life doesn't make sense, you can still choose to lean just a little into his love. To whisper, even with a trembling voice, God, I trust you. Not because I see it, but because I know you see me. Your story isn't over. This chapter is not the final page. There will be new mornings. There will be new mercies. There will be moments of quiet joy again. Until then, if all you can do is take the next breath, say the next small prayer, and place your tired heart once more into God's hands, that is enough. You are loved. You are seen. You are not alone. Even when life doesn't make sense, God is still worthy of your trust, and He will hold you through this. One day, one step, one gentle moment at a time.